So good afternoon. I'd like to start the pep talk now. I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There will be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk, so please show your faces in the video. A reminder after the pep talk is to take the online learning cum evaluation test exercise or OLETE for mastery of learning of the topic and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. I have placed the link in the chat box. Another reminder, obtaining 25 OLETE certificates, okay, with a passing score, okay. So with a 100% passing score, you're entitled to a OLETE certificate, and obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. So let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please turn on your video now and show your beautiful faces. Okay. Ready? Ready? One, two, three. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are there are three courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021. And then from October 2021 onwards, have been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. May 18, 2024 marks the start of year 4 of the RO Hoson Pep Talk. So this is our 4th year. How long the pep talk will last will depend on the enthusiasm, discipline, and perseverance of everybody. My pep talk today is entitled Medical Anecdotal Report, Medical Miracle Experience. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding of the medical miracle experience as part of their health management. The contents of this particular pep talk will be, number one, we will define what is a medical anecdotal report, and then I'll give a narration of the report, and then give you insight and reflection. A disclaimer, the RO Hoson Pep Talk contains my thoughts, perceptions, opinions, recommendations, or TPORs, culled from the experiences of yours truly, and also the writings of other health professionals. So the gist of this medical anecdotal report contains the following. A 73-year-old female Filipina, okay, with 11 years of upper gastrointestinal bleeding, in which doctors could not control with surgery and other invasive means, except with frequent blood transfusions. A novena to the Blessed Virgin Mary, through prayers of Blessed Longo, by yours truly initially, and then by the patient herself, apparently made the bleeding stop. It's For 7 months now, as of today, as of September 2024, the last bleeding was on February 2024. So before the novena, she was bleeding and being transfused with blood at a frequency of 1.5 months. 1.5 months. So this is the gist of the MAR. Some reflections and learning points and issues in this MAR will be the following. What is a medical miracle? Can the case of CAN be considered as a medical miracle? How often do we see medical miracles nowadays? Do medical doctors believe in medical miracles? And then lastly, what are my tips on the management of medical miracles, specifically when to implore for medical miracles? So, what is a medical anecdotal report or MAR? A MAR is operationally defined as by yours truly as a brief written report on an actual medical event or incident that involves an actual patient. So, dapat actual patient ito. This medical observation must have an impact on the reporter, meaning yours truly, in terms of insight gain, and in which the reporter, think it's worth sharing with other people, usually for learning purposes. So this is my operational definition of a MAR or medical anecdotal report. Actual patient, meron siyang impact sa akin. So that's why I will be including my insight and reflections. And then these insights and reflections, personally, I think will be of use to other people for learning purposes. Okay? So this is the narration. So CAN, that's the initial of the patient, is a 73-year-old female Filipino patient who is diagnosed to have a so-called Lynch syndrome, Lynch, Lynch syndrome. Lynch syndrome is a condition that increases the risk of many kinds of cancer or has many kinds of cancer. So maraming cancer sa isang pasyente, now iba-iba, no? So if that happens, then we start thinking of Lynch syndrome, no? Yung dalawa, tatlo, hindi ko baka dalawa hindi pa kasama sa Lynch syndrome, no? Okay. Kung more than 2 or 3, baka especially kung 5 or 4, kasama na dun sa Lynch syndrome. So this patient has a total of 6 cancers in different parts of the body. Okay. Baka seventh na, baka may yung sa June 24, baka pang 7th na yon. Okay. So in 1998, at age 47 years old, she had cancer of the ureter, okay, sa right side, in which a nephrectomy or removal of the kidney, total removal of the kidney, and partial ureterectomy. Okay. So part of the ureter was removed on the right. Now, in 1999, so a year after, at age 48 years old, she had cancer of the uterus. She underwent total hysterectomy and bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy, followed by chemotherapy. And then, 2003, so there was a silent period of about 2000, more than 10 years. Okay. At age 52 years old, she had cancer of the sigmoid colon, in which a surgery of the colon, removal of the sigmoid cancer was done, or what we called sigmoidectomy. Then in the next year, she had a cancer of the transverse colon naman, no? The upper part of the colon. So she underwent transverse colectomy. So part of that colon was removed again. Okay. So in 2012, so that's about 8 years, 8 years after the last operation on the transverse colon, she had cancer of the periampullary batter. Okay. So a Whipple's operation was done in which the pancreas, the duodenum, and part of the stomach, and also the bile ducts were removed. Okay. Okay. So at age 61 years old. Then in 2024, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 2024, this is the sixth now. At age 73, so just last June, she had cancer of the ascending colon this time. No? So 12 years after the operation for the cancer of the ampullary bladders, he had another cancer, this time cancer of the remaining part of the colon, ascending colon. Earlier, it was sigmoid and then transverse and then ascending colon. So in which a colectomy or resection of the cecum was done. So this was just a few months ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a total of 6 cancers. Okay. A year after her Whipple's operation in 2012, she started to have upper gastrointestinal bleeding. Most of the time, melena. When you say melena, black stools. And when you have melena, it signifies that you most likely have bleeding coming from the upper part of the gastrointestinal tract. Okay. From 2013 up to 2024, that's 11 years, there were so many attempts to localize the source of the bleeding with repeated endoscopies, colonoscopies, gastroscopies, okay. And then CT scans, CT angiograms were also done, red blood cell, RBC's red blood cell tagging, just to check where the bleeding is coming from, and other diagnostic procedures so that the bleeding could be controlled. So there were attempts to localize this so that the physicians, including me, would be able to control the bleeding. But unfortunately, all failed. No? So it's either hindi, initially hindi ma-localize yung kung saan nagbi-bleed. No? Okay. So for 11 years, she survived a series of upper gastrointestinal bleeding with just frequent blood transfusions. Keep on transfusions lang, tuloy ano lang, okay, for 11 years. So with a recorded amount of 7 to 10 units of blood being transfused per hospitalization. So the moment she needs transfusion, she has to be hospitalized, and then for the past 11 years, and then the average that when she had to be transfused, so ang marami doon, mga 10 units, marami masyado yon, di ba? 7 to 10 units. Now, in 2023, the recorded frequency of melena and blood transfusion was about 1.5 months. So, yun ang almost 1.5 months. 1 month every month or 1.5 months. No? So, every 1.5 months, may blood transfusion siya. So, ang last bleeding episode niya with blood transfusion was in February 2024. So, note that time, that date, no? February 2024. So, ito yung naka-recorded na last transfusion niya because of bleeding. So in February 2024, this year, just this year, relatives consulted me asking, actually for the ninth time, as I've been taking care of these patients for more than 11 years. Okay. So they were asking me what to do to this patient as their funds were running low because of blood transfusions. So it's not cheap to have blood transfusions every 1.5 months, hospital expenses, and professional fees. Okay. So I was not included in professional fees. She's being handled by the internist, no? Okay, and others people. So the question posed is it ethical and moral to stop the blood transfusions and let nature takes or run its course already because they have tried looking for the bleeding, cannot stop it, no? Kung pwede bang ano na lang, just let nature takes its course. So this question posed, okay, to me, and this is actually difficult to answer. So At this time, she had no evidence of cancer recurrence itong February 2024. Despite the many kinds of cancers, as I said, she had five before the last one. So she was not a terminally ill cancer patient. Okay? Hindi yung cancer na may sakit na wala ng pag-asa. Okay? Her only problem was the unstoppable 11 years of upper gastrointestinal bleeding. Yan lang problema niya. Okay? So I told the relatives not to give up yet until I made another move or several moves, probably the last also. Honestly, I was also at a loss of how to help her. Okay. Because sandali na lang, I'll just try my best for the last time. Kung pwede, give me a chance. Okay. So my last ditch effort to help, this was part of my everlasting compassionate humanitarian program for my patients. Okay. So what I had in mind is that I will think of at least two strategies. Honestly, I didn't know whether they would work or be successful at that time, last February. No? One strategy was for me to personally look for a local surgical endoscopist with superb expertise who could repeat the endoscopy for the last time, as I said, last ditch effort nito, to localize the site of the bleeding and then control it endoscopically. Okay. So look for a local surgeon who can do endoscopy, no? And then, kung pwede, i-control yung bleeding through endoscopy. I had an inkling, personally, I had an inkling because I was the one who did the operation in the Whipples in 11 years ago. So I had the inkling that the site of the bleeding was at the anastomotic site, anastomotic area in the pancreatico-jejunostomy in the Whipples operation. So I was thinking that there most likely a granuloma pyogenicum or lobular capillary hemangioma, the other technical term. This is just parang wound healing, and then di siya maganda ang healing, nagkaroon ng isang parang bukol bukol-bukol, no, which kung nagalaw ng konti madaling dumugo, no. Okay, so I was thinking of that. So through some networking, asking around, I was able to talk and request a local surgical oncologist, RS, who I think would be the best person to do the job. He agreed to do the endoscopy in the government hospital pro bono without pay because, as you know, this patient is running out of resources. So he did it in April 17, 2024. Okay. I will give the results of the first strategy after. This is the first strategy looking for a endoscopist, a local endoscopist who can do the job well. Okay. So I'll just present the second strategy first before I talk about what happened here. My other or second strategy was to fervently pray for a medical miracle, which I had not done before. Honestly, I honestly believe only a miracle can stop the 11 years of continuous bleeding of this patient if the endoscopic attempt would not be successful. So I didn't know whether at that time I didn't know whether the endoscopic procedure would be successful. So sinabayan ko na ng prayer, no? Okay. So because an operation was out of the question, it was too risky kasi meron na siyang at least six or seven operations na, no? Okay, may mahirap na operahan doon sa tiyan, no? So during this time, March or April, during one of my gospel readings, I came across this passage from Mark, St. Mark, and I prayed and hoped it would also happen to the patient. So in that Bible passage, it was mentioned, there was a woman afflicted with hemorrhages for 12 years. CAN, 11 years. She had suffered greatly at the hands of many doctors. Ganun din, dito kay CAN, dumaan na siya sa madaming doctor and procedures and had spent all that she had, yung mga gastos niya. Yes, yet she was not helped but only grew worse. So naging 1.5 months na yung interval ng bleeding niya. So she had heard about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak. She said, if I but touch these clothes, I shall be cured. Immediately her flow of blood dried up. She felt in her body that she was healed of her afflictions. So when I read this, I was hoping sana mangyari din ito kay CAN. No? During this time also, about the same time, kasi January was my birthday. Okay? So, binigyan ako ng isang friend ko dito sa village, no? A book, no? Etong book na by Blessed Longo, ang title 50 Days That Will Change Your Life and Your World, no? At that time, when she gave me this book, as she has a habit of habit, we call that the habit, or gustong-gusto niya magbigay ng libro sa akin, practically yung mga religious art books, no? Every time there's a special occasion, no? Okay. So but when she gave me this book, she did not know about CAN, about the patient. No, she just gave it to me, sort of just a gift. No, so when I saw it, I decided to give it a try for CAN's sake. Ako nag-initiate noon. So I recited the prayer by Blessed Longo to Mama Mary for 27 days to stop the bleeding of the patient. Yan ang requirements kasi dito sa prayers ni Longo. 27 days, okay, to ask for some intercessions, and then 27 days of Thanksgiving prayer. Kaya total of 54 days. So I started March 7, 2024, and then I ended in April 29, 2024. So that's a total of 54 days. So, so this prayer consisted of 3 decades of Holy Rosary. During that time, wala pa yung luminous mystery, no? Tatlo, the traditional 3 decades. Okay? And then after that, the prayer consists of a mahabang prayer na after that I have to pray after the 3 decades of Holy Rosary. So every day yon for 27 days initially. Then after that, 27 days for Thanksgiving. No? So during that time, di ko pa tinuloy-tuloy ko lang Thanksgiving prayer without knowing what will happen, kung mag-grant aking petition or not. So the long prayer consists of three pages. Mahaba talaga. No? I did not tell the patients that I was praying for a miracle for her when I started praying. I only told her after the endoscopic procedure on April 18, 2024, that I was praying for a miracle for her. However, I kept on asking her, monitoring her, whether she had recurrence of melena or upper gastrointestinal bleeding after February 20. Okay. And during the entire 54 days that I was praying Blessed Longo prayer. And she said none. So during all this time, while I was praying it, no, walang recurrence of the bleeding after February 20. Now, here comes the result of the endoscopy. The result of the upper endoscopy on April 17 showed no active bleeding. Okay. So February 20 was the last day of last bleeding niya. So itong April 17 was the date of the endoscopy. So at 2 months, wala siyang bleeding. No? Okay. Okay. Note that I started praying on March 7, 2024 and ended in April 29. So by April 17, I had completed the 27 days praying to stop the bleeding. And on April 17, I was on my 15th days of Thanksgiving prayer. So with this, I already consider it as a miracle, but still hoping that the miracle will be sustained. Okay. Okay. So ito yung findings, no gas, ito yung result ng upper endoscopy, no? So walang active bleeding, no? Coffee ground material and uh, fibrinoid materials noted in the gastric lumen lang. No active bleeding identified. Okay. However, there was an unexpected twist in the story of this patient. Wala nga siyang bleeding, pero may ibang nangyari. Na? After the upper gastrointestinal endoscopy, a colonoscopy was done on the same day kasi hinahanap nila kung talaga saan galing yung bleeding. No? After the upper GI endoscopy, ginawa nila yung colonoscopy sa ilalim naman. No? Okay. So the twist was that a cancer in the ascending colon or cecum was found, which was not present in the colonoscopy done in July 2023. Kasi last year, July lang, meron siyang colonoscopy na eh. No? So wala, negative. No? Pero this time, may nakita. No? Pero yung bleeding sa upper part, nawala. No? Okay. So the cecal cancer is a new finding and unlikely to be the cause of the severe upper gastrointestinal bleeding. So that's what I think. Okay. So, so it seems that the cecum cancer was given in exchange for the unstoppable upper gastrointestinal bleeding. So that's my thoughts, perceptions, and opinions and recommendations. The cecum cancer could be more easily be treated with an operation. So yan ang thinking ko, pinalitan ng cecal cancer. No? Para in exchange, wala na yung upper GI bleeding. A CT angiogram of the whole abdomen done after the endoscopy on April 22, 2024 did not definitely localize the source of the upper gastrointestinal bleeding. So that's an additional evidence, a documentation na walang bleeding. It just considered cavernous transformation of the portal vein, tortuous vessels in the perihilar, splenic hilum, and perigastric regions. Okay, meron din mga itong findings, but I don't think that's causing the bleeding right now. Anyway, the bleeding has stopped for at least 2 months now. So after my prayer in April 29, 2024, I asked the patient to take over. Tapos na yung aking prayer. I asked her to pray for herself during using the prayer of Blessed Longo. Siya naman. I purposely scheduled the operation because of her cecal CA. Sabi ko, kailangan operahan. I will not rely on another miracle for that. Sa akin, pinalitan na yung bleeding with a cecal CA. No? I'm thankful for that already. No? So, in-schedule ko yung operation niya for the cecal CA on June 20. Tiniming ko lang in such a way that the patient could complete her 54 days of prayer. No? Kasi magpe-pray pa siya for 54 days. So, there was no recurrence of the upper gastrointestinal bleeding up to the time of the operation, June 2024. If there's a bleeding, it will make the whole story complicated. A bleeding would make the operations of the colon more complicated and riskier. So baka hindi namin matuloy yung operasyon niya, no? Because of the bleeding. Pero wala, no? So because of the absence of bleeding, natuloy yung operation niya for the cecum. So on June 2024, the patient underwent segmental colectomy to remove the cecal cancer. Ito yung picture ng cecum niya and then ito yung tumor niya. No? So from February 2024, which was the last episode of almost monthly upper GI bleeding, up to June 20, 2024, 4 months, at the time, was the time of the operation, okay, there was no recurrence of the bleeding that I was praying for. So February 20, 2024 to September 17, 2024, this is the time that I was writing this MAR, okay? So it's now 7 months. Today is 2023 days lang, okay? 3 days more, okay? It's still 7 months. It is now 7 months with no recurrence of the upper gastrointestinal bleeding. So thus there was no more almost monthly transfusion. Patient and I believe this is a medical miracle. No, this is a medical miracle for the 11 years of gastrointestinal bleeding, which I and patient CAN prayed for stoppage, if not cure. We did not ask for a miraculous disappearance of the new colon cecal cancer, as this was a separate issue. Okay, so that ends my narration for the MAR. Let me repeat again the gist of the MAR. A 73-year-old Filipina female with 11 years of upper gastrointestinal bleeding in which doctors could not control with surgery and other invasive means except for frequent blood transfusions. A novena to the Blessed Virgin Mary through prayers of Blessed Longo by yours truly initially sa umpisa and then by the patient herself apparently made the bleeding stop. It's now 7 months, so 7 months now as of September, because the last bleeding was on February 2024 and she had undergone the operation for the cecum. So before the Nobida, she was bleeding and being transfused with blood at a frequency of 1.5 months. So 7 months wala nang bleeding. Some reflections that I'd like to discuss will be the following. What is a miracle? Can the case of CAN be considered a medical miracle? How often do we see medical miracles nowadays? Do medical doctors believe in medical miracles? And then what are my tips on the management of medical miracles when to implore for the miracles? First, what is a medical miracle? There's so many definitions, but I will just stick to this. Okay. A medical miracle generally refers to the unexpected recovery despite a dire prognosis. Very, very poor prognosis. Okay. So unexpected, gumaling, na hindi mo akalain, gagaling, no? And then yung prognosis niya, malala, no? Okay. Medical miracles refer to events that are anticipated and inexplicable, mahirap i-explain, outside the range of medical precedents and the laws of natures as assessed by science. Okay. So hindi natin ina-expect, no? We hope for it, pero hindi natin talagang ina-expect na mangyayari all the time and mahirap i-explain. A medical miracle is any cure of a condition, illness, or affliction that defies all possible understanding. So hindi natin maintindihan bakit huminto, no? Despite 11 years of bleeding in these particular patients. Can the case of CAN in this patient be considered as a medical miracle? I believe so if we go by the following definitions of medical miracle. Unexpected recovery despite a dire prognosis. When you say dire prognosis, 11 years na nagdumudugo at hindi malaman kung anong gagawin. Okay. Anticipated, inexplicable, outside the range of medical precedents and laws of nature assessed by science. And then any cure of a condition or illness or affliction that defies all possible understanding. So remember, 11 years of upper gastrointestinal bleeding with no interventions except for a continuous prayer by yours truly and the patient. I believe so. And then this particular question can be answered also by, if we go by the definition of a medical miracle by Mir. Mir observes that the medical miracle has three basic components. Number one, it must be an unusual that can be perceived by others. It has no natural explanation. It appears to be the result of an act of God. How often do we see medical miracles nowadays? Not as often as before or during the time of Jesus Christ. The Bible recorded 17 medical miracles during the time of Jesus. But medical miracles will still occur nowadays, but they are not always dramatic as before and not and are not always spoken of publicly because who experience them hold them sacred. Hindi masyadong kinekwento, no? Furthermore, the criteria for declaring an event as medical miracle are now more stringent. Medyo mahigpit na, especially by the Catholic Church before it declares somebody as a saint. The sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in southern France, where millions of pilgrims go there every year seeking medical miracles, scrutinizes the cases of apparent miracles, not only 70 cases in 160 years. So maraming pumupunta doon, as we know, for praying for miracles, but up to now, only about 70 cases are really documented to be proven to be miracles. Okay. Do medical doctors believe in medical miracles? Yes, they do, though not all. Personally, I do. A national poll of 1,100 physicians from different religious faiths in the US, okay, asked whether they believe in miracles. 74% believe miracles occurred in the past. 73% held the belief that miracles can occur today. So this poll was done in 2004. Moreover, 72% of physicians believe that a religion is a reliable and necessary guide to life. So what are my tips in the management of medical miracles, especially on when to implore for medical miracles? Every human beings, when they get sick, always wish they get recovered soon. That's a given. They can observe without going to the doctors, hoping and at times praying for their God, they will spontaneously recover soon. So if they recover, is this considered medical miracle or grace? So that's a question. They may self-medicate and observe without going to the doctors, hoping and at times praying to their God, they will spontaneously recover soon. We know these things happen, okay? Self-medication, you observe lang, without seeing a doctor, gumaling sila. So if they recover, is this considered a medical miracle or just grace? They may consult a doctor or doctors and get treated, hoping and at times praying to their God that they will spontaneously recover soon. So the difference between this one and the other previous one is that now they see a doctor. Yung kanina, nag-self-medicate lang sila. So pumunta sila sa doctor or doctors and they get well. Okay. So the question is this medical miracle or grace? They have serious diseases in which there are known ways of cure or control. They consult a doctor or doctors and get treated, hoping at times praying to their God that they will spontaneously recover soon. Again, in this situation, if they recover, is it considered medical miracle or grace? Another scenario, if they have diseases, both serious and not serious, both life-threatening or not, in which there are no known ways of cure or established ways of cure or control. They consult a doctor or doctors but did not get treated because there is no known ways of cure and control. They hope and pray to their God they will spontaneously get well and recover soon. So again, the question is, do we consider this as a medical miracle or grace? Okay. So if you have illnesses or diseases that need medical treatment, in which the track records show that you have a better chance of recovery with medical treatment, my advice is go for the medical treatment and don't just rely and hope and pray for a medical miracle. So this is advice when not to rely or wait for a medical miracle. Because oftentimes when we hear about medical miracle, maghihintay na lang tayo ng medical miracle. That's a medyo mahina yon, no? If you have illnesses or diseases that need medical treatment in which the track records show no effective medical treatment, you can hope at least and pray at most for a medical miracle, but always with the stance of thy will be done. So this is my advice when to hope and pray for a medical miracle. Okay. I think that's the last slide on my tips. Okay. So summary and takeaway, I have presented a medical anecdotal report with narration and insight and my reflection. The gist again, 73-year-old female, Filipina, with 11 years of upper GI bleeding, in which doctors could not control with surgery and other invasive means except for frequent blood transfusion, a novena to the Blessed Virgin Mary, through prayers of Blessed Longo by yours truly initially, and then by the patient herself, apparently make the bleeding stop. 7 months now as of today. Okay, last bleeding was on February 2024. So before the novena, she was bleeding and being transfused with blood at a frequency of 1.5 months. So for the past 7 months, wala nang bleeding, wala nang blood transfusion. And furthermore, she underwent an operation without any problem. So I presented some of my reflections. My reflections would be on the following. What is a medical miracle? Can the case of CAN be considered as a medical miracle? How often do we see medical miracles nowadays? Do doctors believe in medical miracles? And then what are my tips when to implore for medical miracles? So with that, takeaway in relation to patient empowerment, be always in touch with reliable medical information on medical miracle. Knowledge is power. It gives power. Use the 4Ks of patient empowerment, kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on the management of medical miracle as part of your health management. This ends my pep talk today. I hope I have empowered you to have an essential understanding of medical miracle as part of your health management. So when to consider presence of medical miracle and when to implore medical miracle for your health condition in the future. So before we go to the question and answer portion of the sessions, remember to take the online learning evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. I have placed the link in the chat box. And then obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. And then another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. So let's now have a group picture taking before we start the QA and interactions. Please show your faces now. Okay. Okay, ready? One, two. Oh, may pahabol. Okay, let me repeat. One, two, three. Okay. So the floor is now open for questions, comments, sharing experiences. Okay.
Ah, Hi, Doc.
Sino?
Mayan po.
May an. Sige.
Doc, what do you mean by Blessed Longo?
Ano, ano?
I just heard Blessed Longo. I just heard it now.
I think she was canonized as saint na. Blessed, saint na.
Ah,
Yung book binigay sa akin, ano, matagal na yon eh. Na?
okay po. Thank you po.
Okay. Any other comments? Anybody who wants to share? Has anybody experienced medical miracles in their life now? Anybody?
Sila, Doc.
Violeta, sige. Baka ikaw, meron.
Ah, mako-consider ba yung case ko?
Let's see. Ano ba yung case mo? Sige, inarate.
Diba, diba I'm stage 4 cancer to
Yeah.
the lungs, metastasized to the lungs. Pero I'm clinically diagnosed ng November 2023 pero sa PET CT scan ko na-declare na as metastasis to the lungs ng September 2022 pa. But during that time kasi, my onco cannot diagnose kasi it's too small for biopsy. So, ang inaano ko lang doon is, marami kasi yung nodules na nandun sa lungs ko. Siguro more or less mga 10 nodules. And after 1 year, nag-grow yung tatlo. One on my left and two on my right. Sila lang yung tatlong malaki. On my left is 1.2 cm. My right is 1.3 and 0.08 cm. Tapos multiple nodules na maliliit. Lahat na nag-hypermetabolic na sa PET CT scan na October 2023. So, ang I consider that as grace or miracle kasi hindi nag-spread to other organs despite na hypermetabolic na siya nung September 2022 and we waited 1 year after to be biopsied. Tapos after the biopsy, yun nakita nga na it's metastasis from my renal cell cancer and not from my breast cancer. Kasi two primary cancer ako eh. Breast cancer na una, I was operated by you. And then 1 year after, 2019, renal cancer naman. So, ang inaano ko dito is, maswerte ako. I'm blessed kasi hindi kumalat yon nag-hypermetabolic noong 2022 kasi, di ba dok, pag hypermetabolic na siya, usually it is cancerous na po.
Most
Kasi
most likely, pero not 100%, na?
pero na-confirm siya na cancer siya noon October 2023 kasi they biopsied on that nodule.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yun ang inaano ko is, maswerte ako, hindi siya kumalat sa other organs. Na confine lang siya to the lungs, although lahat ng mga nodules nag-hypermetabolic na siya. And I am taking only oral drug, pazopanib. Hindi ako nag-IV ng pembrolizumab or other first-line treatment. So, maganda po yung effect sa akin, Doc. So, I consider that another miracle and grace kasi hindi matindi yung side effect sa akin. Hepatotoxic yung gamot. So, ang binabantayan ng doctor is bawal umakyat yung blood pressure ko above 150. And hanggang ngayon, naka-confine pa rin sa 120, 130 over 90 ang BP ko.
Okay.
Tapos yung liver ko, hanggang ngayon, normal pa rin. SGPT, SGOT, bilirubin, normal pa rin. Creatinine, normal pa rin. So, hindi ko alam, Dok, pero alam ko lang maswerte ako kasi nakakapasyal ako, nakakakain ako, nakakadakwatsa ako.
Okay,
As if I am normal. Alam ko lang na may cancer ako because I'm taking my medicine.
yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay. So, pero kung tatanungin mo sarili mo at tatanungin mo ako, is that a medical miracle? Yan ang, di ba? Yan ang topic.
Yes, I consider it kasi sa church po namin, Doc, number 2 ako sa prayer list.
Sino number one?
Kasi yung church po, I'm attending the Grace, Christian Gospel Center ng Caloocan branch. And every Tuesday, they have a 1.5 hour of prayer meeting. So lahat po ng mga nag-aas ng prayer, doon po nila pray over. So nalaman ko, I am number 2 daw sa list nila.
Ano kaiba ng number one, number two, number three?
Opo. Yung mga parang ang ginagawa nila is yung pinaka-serious is number one, yun, pababa yun, ano yung number. So nalaman ko, they considered me as a serious case kasi stage 4 cancer.
Ah,
So, yun nalaman ko, they are praying over for me. And I am joining also a morning devotion every 5 o'clock with
ah,
some of my co-churchmates. So, pray over din nila. So, I think it is a
ah,
miracle.
yeah, okay. So, by priority, pag more severe ang ano mo, ang condition mo, nasa priority ka.
Opo, nasa
Diba?
pag-please.
Okay, so pwede rin yun, pero first time I heard about it, sa akin naman, kahit na anong sakit mo, magpa-pray ka, ipa-pray ka, di ba? Regardless of ano. So,
Kasi marami daw po yun mga, kumbaga the church member would just send prayer requests and they will they will write down kung ano yung case nung ano for the prayer request. So, nalaman ko lang, a member of the church just told me that because he was looking for me, hindi daw niya ako kilala, who is Violeta Reyes. Bakit number 2 ka sa prayer list? So, noon time na yun, nagkita kami, sabi niya, oh, so you're Violeta Reyes. What's your case? Sabi ko, I'm stage 4 cancer. Sabi,
yeah.
ikaw pala yung Violeta Reyes ko po.
Yeah. But I think the bottom line here is it doesn't have to be you don't have to be prayed by somebody else to get the miracle, no? Okay. So even yourself, you can do the prayer as a patient, di ba?
Yes.
And then so hindi naman ito lang nangyari dito sa kaso nito. As I said, this is my first talagang formal recorded na medical miracle, not, which I really consider medical miracle. Ako, I just initiated the prayer, no? Pero if I didn't pray and then I asked the patient to pray, at nangyari, miracle pa rin yon, di ba? Okay. So, it doesn't have to be that as somebody, a third party will be do the prayer for you, no? Pero sinasabi na mas maganda kung may third party, di ba? Okay.
Sabi nila, mas maganda daw kapag meron nag-intercession.
Yeah. Ganon. Mas maganda. Pero yung pwede ka rin mag-pray on your own so you can get a miracle. You know, it's possible, di ba? Okay. So let's just be clear on that, no? Okay.
Ah,
Number
ito,
two,
may tanong ako do. Doon sa
ah,
PET scan,
ah,
what's the difference of hypermetabolic, stable metabolic, and background metabolic?
background of
Background metabolic.
anong nakalagay? Metabolic
Background. Background metabolic lang nakasulat. So,
background.
hindi ko naintindihan anong ibig sabihin niya. Doon sa PET scan ko noong April,
Oh, kasi pag may hypermetabolic, usually ang connotation noon is positive
apo,
but not all the time. May mga false readings din 'yon. May false interpretations, no? Okay.
apo.
So it has to be monitored or additional tests might have to be done to make sure that if you really want to pursue it, to make sure that it's really metastatic or not, no? Okay.
Kasi kinumpare po nila yun, after 4 months of medication, they compared, nag-PET CT scan ulit ako, so they compared it with my October. So yun sinabi, may regression, and then only one nodule is stable metabolic,
Yeah.
while the others are now background metabolic. So, hindi ko naintindihan ano ibig sabihin ko.
Yeah. But the mere fact that you have all these tests done, no, at it shows kumisan meron, kumisan wala, 'di ba? Ganon. No. So um I guess the only since the topic is medical miracle, we can say that yung medical miracle has occurred if completely nawala, 'di ba? If yan ang pinaka the best, completely mawala, no? Okay. Kasi kung partially, hindi pa rin medical miracle, di ba? Okay.
Makikita ko po, October 2, my next PET scan, Doc.
Yeah. And then, kaya nga, that's why yung maraming uh, hassles yung pag kung i-label isang pasyente medical miracle or not, di ba? Hassle yan eh, di ba? So maraming debate yon, no? Kaya ako, I just make my own report, no? And then what I personally think, no? Okay. So iba kasi, okay, strictly speaking, ang pinaka the best ngayon is yung let's say, certain talagang hindi mo ina-expect na gagaling talaga, no? By medical standards, di ba? Okay, by medical standards, hindi gagaling, but through some other means, no? Usually religious means, prayers, or ano. But of course, I'll be open-minded and will not exclude any other mean na, let's say, meron siyang uh, meron siyang ginawa na hindi man through prayers, no, gumaling, pwede pa ring miracle, no, ganon, no. Okay, so very, let's say, very extensive yung sakit niya at matagal na hindi magamot-gamot, no. Okay, kahit na anong gawin mo walang nangyayari, no, and suddenly may gumaling siya because either by prayer or by a some intervention, no? Okay. Intervention. Kung may new inventions, palagi ko baka hindi pa rin sinasama nila sa ano medical miracle, no? Okay. It's usually by prayer, no? Okay. So and then so I suggest yung sa iyo, Violetta, probably just categorize it by grace na lang. Grace muna. Okay? Sabi mo,
Release
masurvey
na,
ka.
Doc. Pag magaling na ako, miracle na.
So,
May gumagaling bang stage 4, Doc?
yeah. Kasi in the literature, merong mga it has been known naman kahit na stage 4 ka, hindi siya, meron tayong mga 5-year survival rate, di ba? 10-year survival rate, gano'n, di ba? Hindi naman,
Yep.
hindi naman 100% na stage 4 mamamatay sa during that 5 years, eh, no? May matitira pa, no? So let's say 2%, 3%, no? Okay, based on the statistics. But we don't consider that as miracle, no? Parang, as you said, swerte, no?
Yes, sir.
Person
Kasi
swerte.
yung brother-in-law ko, Doc, 6 months lang, namatay na.
Yeah, iba-iba. Iba-iba nga, no? Okay. Iba-iba nga, no? That's why I said it's not easy to define what a medical miracle is. Yeah, ako, eto talagang, I'm convinced that it is a medical miracle. So I don't think everybody will agree with me, but at the moment, no, yan ang to be objective about it, I base it on some criteria. Sabi ko, medical miracle ito. But I still keep on monitoring. Baka magbago pa. Naka 7 months na eh. Eh kung mabot ng 10 years na walang bleeding, kung buhay pa itong pasyente for ano. But okay, I have to remind everybody na once you have a medical miracle doesn't mean that you're going to stay alive forever. Tama? So, pwede kang gumaling. Medical miracle means may illness ka, gumaling ka, but it may recur after so many years or baka you might die of another cause. No? Okay.
Ah, pwede yun, Doc.
Tama. So, let's ano kasi baka iniisip ng mga natin, nag-medical miracle, nabuhay ako at naka-recover ako, wala na, okay na yon, di ba? Pero just have to think that once you have a medical miracle, it doesn't guarantee that you will stay alive. No? Okay. You will not have another problem in the future. No? So remember that, no? Di ba ang good bet si Saint Lazarus, si Lazarus, di ba? So namatay na siya, no? Napabuhay ni Jesus, no? But I suppose he's dead after namatay ulit, di ba? Okay. So, yan ang ano, no? Okay? So, thank you for sharing your experience, Violeta, no? So, I think for the moment, you just hang on and then keep on praying, okay? Hoping for a miracle, but at the moment, it's still the grace of God that's helping you, no? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Just be ready. Ganun lang. Alam ko ready ka naman eh.
Yeah. Just cherish what's left.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Okay. Okay. Any other person who want to share or to ask questions? Anybody? Who has encountered medical miracle before? Ako, this is my first time talagang well documented ito, no? Okay. Anybody? None? So kung wala, can I have a show of hands kung lahat ba'y naniniwala sa sinasabi ko na this case is a medical miracle? 11 years na nagbi-bleed, no? Bigla na lang tumigil because of my prayer, no? Let's have a show of hands. 1, 2. Okay. Good. Good. Walang nagdi-disagree sa akin. Of course, may tao siguro magdi-disagree sa akin. Lalo na mga atheists. The atheists probably will disagree. No? Okay. Okay, so only time will tell. I will keep on monitoring this patient, then update it in my blog. No? Okay. Okay? Wala na mag-share. Last call. Uh, anong note mo, Lance? Anong note mo? You have a note here?
And then may question lang sa chat box, yung kay CAN, kung natanggal ba yung cecal cancer. Sabi ko, na-remove siya through surgery.
Yeah. Yeah. Tinanggal. No? Sino nagtanong? Susan, ikaw ba? Sino nagtanong?
Miss Susan po.
Okay, Susan. Okay, natanggal. No? Okay. So
Mahina yung signal ko, Doc, nawawala-wala ako.
Oo.
So, sa chat
To
box.
answer your question, natanggal. I was really anxious before the operation. Baka mag-bleed siya ulit. Baka hindi namin matanggal, maoperahan. Number 2, baka mahirapan kami magtanggal. Na? So, buti na lang, took us only about 1.5 hours to remove it. No? Okay. Okay? Any more?
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. So, wala na mag-share? Okay. So, kung wala na, we'll call it a day and then we will have another session next week. No?
Thank you, Doc.
Okay. Sige.
Thank you po, Doc.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you po,
Hi,
Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you,
po,
Doc.
Doc.
Bye-bye.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Okay.
God bless everyone po.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.